critical to the establishment of Federal Medical Center, DEBA, and the Federal Orthopedic Hospital, Aviaji, as well as the National Burns and Rehabilitation Center, Ilaro.
The medical center, if provided, will provide millions of people with rapid access to highest quality care, lifelong learning in health.
A dedicated center for burns and rehabilitation will go a long way in reducing mortality arising from burns.
We concur and we support all the three bills on the basis of accessibility, availability, affordability, and convenience.
For these constituents and other key stakeholders, the sacrifice to be here is a genuine cause to guarantee health care for all.
We are once more on course with the plans before us, concerned about new establishments to enhance institutions and get them closer to the people hitherto excluded from these services.
The established hospital will provide specialized orthopedic care to people of its immediate environment and Nigerians in general.
The agency therefore aligns herself with the intent of the bills and supports the activities of the National Assembly.
When passed, the bills are expected to bring healthcare closer to the people, provide specialized services, and reduce quackery in the health sector. From the National Assembly, Dayo Gunshola, NTA News.
Preventive care is critical to healthy lives and environment. This has resonated as the global community commemorates Hand Washing Day 2021. On NTA Fine Face reports.
Our future is at hand. Let's move forward together. This is the theme for World Hand Washing Day 2021. Hand washing is an imperative for good health, but compliance remains low in Nigeria. This is the opinion of students who are now resolved to be vanguards of hand hygiene.
This global hand washing day is very important for everybody because they learn the importance of hand hygiene and why it's very important to wash your hands so you can stay away from germs and other diseases that could affect you.
I don't really often wash my hand. I mostly use sanitizers. It's actually because of lack of water. There is no efficiency of water in our schools, homes, and sometimes we actually feel lazy to start washing our hands under that for like 20 seconds, 30 seconds.
The commemoration of Hand Washing Day has therefore become another reminder for people to wash their hands as an effective means to healthy living, even more imperative now in the face of the third wave of COVID-19.
That cleaning hands with soap and water removes germs much more effectively and significantly reduces the risk of disease transmission. Hands must be washed as much as practically possible and must be washed at critical moments, such as after using the toilet, after coughing or sneezing, or after cleaning a child who had gone to the toilet, and also before preparing food, before and after eating.
The Federal Ministry of Environment had organized a training and a quiz competition for students in the FCT on hand hygiene. On NTA Fine Face, NTA News.
To tell us more about Global Hand Washing Day, we have in the studio Jane Bevan. She's the Chief of Water, Sanitation and Hygiene, UNICEF. You're welcome to Nationwide Studios.
Thank you very much.
Now, could you kindly tell us what are the benefits of hand washing, especially in these COVID-19 times?
It's the single most effective and cost-effective vaccine that we have, really, against all manner of diseases, of things that are waterborne and fecal-oral borne, as we say, which is anything from dirt on your hands that can get into your mouth. So if you're preparing food for other people and you don't wash your hands, you make that big risk. It's estimated that about 40% of all of these diseases can be reduced by the simple act of hand washing.
So in that case, how well are Nigerians taking the wash campaign? What's the performance?
Unfortunately, at the moment, our statistics tell us that only 16% of Nigerians are adequately washing their hands at all of the critical times.
So is that good or bad?
16 is really not very good.
And what's the ideal?
Well, ideally, everybody, 100%, would be washing their hands all of the time. And UNICEF has supported the Ministry of Water and and the various sector partners to develop a hand hygiene roadmap. So the idea is that by 2030, by the end of the SDGs, there will be hand washing everywhere.
So in addition to this, what other solutions can be proffered for better water access and sanitation?
Water access is more of a challenge, but sanitation is definitely a householder's responsibility. And I would say that everybody needs to really consider how best they can access the toilet, be it in their own home or be it in a public convenience. But hand washing should always be there.
So any final words?
Really just to say happy global hand washing, everybody, and please make it a habit.
Thank you very much. We've been talking to Jane Bevan, the Chief of Water, Sanitation and Hygiene at UNICEF. Let's now join Adeola in Lagos for more reports.
Thank you, Nadia. The COVID-19 pandemic has led to strict enforcement of proper hygiene, especially the non-pharmaceutical preventive measures, which includes hand washing. Our correspondent examines Nigerians' attitude towards this all-important practice as the world marks Global Hand Washing Day. October 15 globally has been set aside to increase awareness and understanding about the importance of hand washing with soap as an effective and affordable practice which helps to save lives and prevent diseases. This year's celebration with the theme "Our Future is at Hand, Let's Move Forward," as explained by Dr. Alera Roberts, is to sensitize Nigerians to its significance.
The importance of hand washing cannot be overemphasized, and everybody knows, particularly in the wake of the COVID-19 pandemic. However, it's a concept that requires very high level of multi-sectoral cooperation and collaboration.
Apart from some public offices that insist on hand washing and temperature checks, it has been observed that the practice, which was intensified as a habit at the onset of COVID-19 with the regular use of hand sanitizers, has almost been forgotten.
As basic as hand hygiene is, it was very, and it is also very important contribution to the stemming the tide.
Hand washing is no longer just before you eat. Hand washing now is before you eat, after you eat, before you go to, after going to the toilet, after changing child's diapers, before you touch your eyes, nose, or mouth. Hand washing is something that you just do, literally, 5, 6, 10, 20 times a day.
Given the importance of hand washing, how then can Nigerians imbibe this lifestyle?
I always try to wash my hand anytime that I ease myself or do anything that makes me uncomfortable.
It can give you some kinds of diseases that nobody knows about because you have not washed your hands. So I think it's very good to wash your hand all the time.
My children wash their hands regularly. I make sure before they go to bed, they wash their hands.
This medical experts, however, say the general public should embrace the culture of hand washing techniques at all times, as it is one of the surest ways of staying free from being infected by viruses like COVID-19. Now, the federal government's intervention project across the Federation is yielding positive results, as the ecological project has handed over a completed jetty in Ajegunle to the Nigerian Inland Waterways Authority in Lagos. Minister of State Health, Senator Olorunimbe Mamora, says the project will address ecological challenges of siltation, flooding, and pollution of ferry channels in Ajegunle and its adjoining communities.
It is estimated that an average of 6 million commuters transit from the Lagos mainland to Lagos Island. This takes travel time of 3 hours, whereas ferry transportation through the inland water takes 30 minutes to get to the destination. This will also take off 2 million commuters from the Lagos gridlock. But the high pollution rate, flooding along the riverbanks, as well as siltation along channels have, over the years, constituted hindrances to ferry services in Lagos, which is why the need to resuscitate, upgrade existing jetties, and make the ferry routes operational becomes imperative.
The completion of the project has further demonstrated Mr. President's commitment to addressing problems confronting various communities across the country. This project intervention will provide succor to the communities whose lives and properties were hitherto now in danger. I want to appeal to you to please see this project as your project.
Representatives of the host communities believe that the project will to a large extent reduce the burden of having to stay hours in traffic.
Most of our people in the community going for their work, they suffer so much. But we are happy now getting a short road that can lead them to their working place at Apapaye.
Expecting such a thing from the government. This is one of the development we have been seeing.
The federal government, through the ecological project, says it will continue to embark on projects that have direct impact on the lives of Nigerians. In Lagos, Ruth Ariel Samuel, NTA News.
And from the story, we'll take our first break. Nationwide will continue thereafter. Please stay with us.
Government, through NPHCDA, commenced Phase 2 vaccination of all persons 18 years and above with safe and effective COVID-19 vaccines approved by WHO and certified by NAFDAC. Special arrangement has been made for staff, their dependents and retirees of ministries, departments and agencies of government, private corporate organizations and non-governmental organizations. To benefit from this special arrangement, visit www.nphcda.gov.ng/corporate vaccination/ to obtain, fill and submit the Google form. NPHCDA will contact you within 48 hours. Protect yourself, your family and your workplace against COVID-19. COVID-19 vaccines are free, safe and effective. For further inquiries, call 0700-220-1122 or send a mail to covid19.vaccination@nphcda.gov.ng. This message is from the National Primary Healthcare Development Agency.
When you think about hospitality and affordable luxury away from home, then you talk about Sharon Ultimate Hotels, a secured and serene environment that offers kingly services such as 24-hour room service, impeccable security with CCTV surveillance, parking lots, free Wi-Fi internet service, free complimentary breakfast, restaurants that offers continental and local dishes, well-equipped fitness center with instructors, swimming pool, 350 capacity multipurpose hall, laundry service, pastry corner, mini mart, and our suites are breathtaking. For reservation, locate us at plot 1710, Tafawa Balewa Way, Area 3, Garikia, Abuja. Sharon Ultimate Hotels, the ultimate place.
A new edition of TV Guide is out, exclusively with Governor Simon Lalong of Plateau State.
Since assuming office, our rescue administration has pursued the path of peace and reconciliation and restored confidence among people of different ethnic, religious, and political persuasions. Peace is back on the plateau. We are building world-class infrastructure in roads and opening up opportunities for innovation.
The edition is a compendium of mind-blowing stories for your reading pleasure, ranging from entertainment, economy, sports, media, politics, family, and lots more. Pick up a copy and keep abreast with issues and trending features within our space. TV Guide, very incisive, very educative and comprehensive. Grab a copy at the vendor near you or any NTA station nationwide. TV Guide, your indispensable companion.
Manchester City return from the international break with a tricky tie against Burnley at the Etihad Stadium. Will they get their desired victory? Find out this Saturday when Manchester City take on Burnley on the Premier League Live, showing on the network service of the NTA from 2:30 p.m. The Premier League Live is brought to you by Baba Ijebu and powered by Integral.
It's nice to know you're still watching Nationwide. President Muhammadu Buhari congratulates the Nigeria Union of Journalists, NUJ, on the outcome of its 7th Triennial Delegates Conference, which has seen the re-election of Chris Isiguzo for a second term in office as president. In a statement by the Senior Special Assistant to the President on Media and Publicity, Garba Shehu, President Buhari has made it clear that press freedom is an irreducible minimum in a democracy that would flourish. However, such freedom must be used responsibly. Considering the formidable role the media plays in shaping and influencing the course of events in any society, the President reminds the NUJ leadership that the country will continue to look up to members for fair, balanced and objective journalism. The President also assures the newly elected executives that this administration will uphold and unrelentingly safeguard the watchdog role provided for the media in the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. The federal government is establishing a special market and small-scale mineral value addition cluster in Kano State aimed at creating more jobs through the non-oil sector, with the Minister of State, Mines and Steel Development, Uche Chukwuoka, performing the groundbreaking ceremony. Abdullahi Mustafa reports.
This project is part of the post-COVID-19 intervention under the federal government's Economic Sustainability Plan. The Kano Gold Souk aims at creating an artisanal and small-scale mineral value addition cluster with a view to creating jobs and attracting foreign direct investment. It will also formalize the activities of the artisanal miners in Kano, which is the commercial hub of northern Nigeria and a major gold trading center in the country.
We are giving you the opportunity to come and work with government so that you can have prosperity in mining. We believe that the establishment of this company will help the artisanal miners to be richer than what they were before.
Kano State government donated the land being used for the construction of the facility.
It's an indication that Mr. President has accepted, as his earlier mentioned, business is not as usual. We must break away from the mono economy of oil to diversify other sources of the economy, including agriculture and mining.
The proposed Kano Gold Souk is expected to serve not only traders but artisanal gold miners from the northern part of the country. In Kano, Abdullahi Mustafa, NTA News.
Now to food security matters. The insurgency in Borno State, which has lasted more than 10 years, has cut short the determination of farmers in the state to rank the highest producers of farm produce in the northeast. However, an initiative by the National Food Security Council has rekindled that determination. Correspondent Ilyasu Ali Yakubu reports.
Borno State, before the emergence of insurgency, is regarded as one of the centers of commerce in the north, where buying and selling of farm produce are at its peak. Aside the menace of insurgency, another factor that has continued to bedevil farmers in the state has been incessant flooding. This agri-input is provided to 7,386 farmers affected by the 2020 flooding. The farmers thank federal government for the foresight. Governor Babagana Umara Zulum said he cannot thank President Muhammadu Buhari enough for the continuous support to the people of Borno State.
The major reasons of the insurgency are the increasing infrastructural deficit in the northeast sub-region, poverty and climate vulnerabilities, and therefore today's intervention will go a long way in alleviating the sufferings of our people and in addressing some of our shortcomings.
I want to add that there is no better disaster recovery paradigm than safeguarding the food security of the people. We are now attacking vulnerability through productivity.
The governor inspected the warehouse where the inputs are kept for onward distribution to the affected persons. From Maiduguri, Borno State, Ilyasu Ali Yakubu, NTA News.
Food security is central to the agenda of the federal government, and women constitute an appreciable percentage of the agricultural value chain. The Ministry of Women Affairs is therefore rolling out activities to address challenges facing rural women in the agricultural sector. Ngozi Silva Technical reports.
I'm farming corn,
beans. Because our people cannot move out to go to farm freely because of napping and other things that are going on.
I want Nigeria to help us.
These are hardworking women whose resilience in the home front and other areas of life are glaring, though they are sometimes looked down on as illiterates, victims of insurgency and various forms of gender-based violence, among other cultural norms against women. The United Nations General Assembly set aside 15th and 16th of October every year to globally bring to the front burner challenges bedeviling these voiceless members of the society.
Do you know that when you empower those rural women, by the time they have developed self-esteem, a woman who used to bribe with 1 mudu of rice to change her vote, if she's now selling bags of rice, can you buy her vote again?
Issues of insecurity and unavailability of land for agricultural purposes were highlighted as needing urgent action by the government. Different products by these women were also showcased. Ngozi Silva Technical, NTA News.
Similarly, professionals in food science and technology have vowed to chart a new course in food security and sustainability in the post-COVID-19 era in Nigeria, as is reflective of the theme of this year's 3-day conference of the Nigerian Institute of Food Science and Technology in Makurdi, Benue State. Charles Abba reports.
Of professionals in food science and technology in Makurdi is not unconnected to these threatening forecasts. President of the Nigerian Institute of Food Science and Technology, Madu Iwe, explained that coronavirus pandemic has negatively affected food production from the farm to the fork, processing and distribution globally.
We're encouraging ourselves to utilize technology that is fitting for our domestic purposes to ensure more food for the land.
To mitigate food security in the post-COVID-19 era, considerations need to be given to the following areas: reinforcing sets of priority actions to address the immediate, near and medium-term needs, to protect people during and beyond the crisis, and ultimately to reshape and build resilient food systems.
Good messages by a number of experts of some food chain organizations
I just want to say
hope that food security and sustainability is achievable in the COVID-19 and post-COVID-19 eras. In Makurdi, Charles Abba, NTA News.
Away from food security matters, travelers plying the Kaba-Omo-Ekiti Federal Highway can now heave a sigh of relief as rehabilitation has begun in the Iyamuye axis. Jonathan Omajili reports.
Kaba-Omo-Ekiti Federal Highway has been in the news, but for the wrong reasons.
People will sleep here. If you are current here, you will discover that a lot of people sleep here 4 or 5 days on this road. The road is too bad.
3 months after free flow of traffic along the Yamuye axis became a rare sight due to a failed section of the road, the cries of the people are beginning to yield fruit, with the House of Representatives member for Yagba Federal Constituency, Leke Abejide, stepping into the situation. The rehabilitation work, which will last for 6 days, will address the major areas of concern.
The drainage is more important. So we're going to do the drainage to channel the water down to the bridge.
From Iyamuye, I am Jonathan Omajali.
It's time for another break, after which we'll join our Jos Network Center, where Felicia is standing by with reports from that axis.
Nigerian youths are about the greatest assets the country has at the moment. It is therefore not surprising that the administration of President Muhammadu Buhari is strategically responding to the yearnings of the youth through multiple projects and programs. Youth Entrepreneurship Support Years by Bank of Industry, the Youth Investment Fund by the CBN, and several other conditional cash transfer programs. Recruitment of 774,000 social workers, majority of whom are youths, and so many other projects that are beneficial to youths directly or indirectly. If the administration can do all this, definitely with a degree of patience and time, it can achieve more. Nigerian youths must come together to say no to terrorism, no to vandalism, and no to all disruptive tendencies. Hashtag Youth for Greater Nigeria. Pacifying the youths, unifying the nation.
The broadcast media ecosystem is dynamic and requires continuous training for practitioners to perform optimally. NTA TV College JOS invites relevant officers to the following specially packaged training programs. Archival Management System in the Broadcast Media, date 11th October to 29th October 2021, 3 weeks. Intermediate Presentation Techniques, date 11th October to 22nd October 2021, 2 weeks. Digital Satellite, Microwave, and RF Technologies, date 11th October to 15th October 2021, 1 week. Advanced Broadcast Accounting and Auditing, date 25th October to 5th November 2021, 2 weeks. Photojournalism and Photography, date 8th November to 26th November 2021, 3 weeks. Transmitter Operation and Maintenance, date 1st November to 5th November 2021, 1 week. The course fee for the 3-week course is 130,000 naira per participant, while the fee for the 2-week course and the 1-week engineering courses is 100,000 naira only per participant, accommodation inclusive. The venue for all courses is the serene and secure environment of NTA TV College near Old Government House, Rayfield, Jos. For more information, please call 0803-314-4383 or 0806-980-9807. NTA TV College Jos, training you to be the best you want to be.
Manchester City return from the international break with a tricky tie against Burnley at the Etihad Stadium. Will they get their desired victory? Find out this Saturday when Manchester City take on Burnley on the Premier League Live, showing on the network service of the NTA from 2:30 p.m. The Premier League Live is brought to you by Baba Ijebu and powered by Integral.
Still on to Nationwide, welcome to Jos. British government is seeking collaboration with the Plateau State government in the area of sustainable peace in the state. This was when a delegation from the British High Commission visited Governor Simon Lalong in Jos. Priscilla Grumnan reports.
Leader of the delegation, Sophia Stevens, who commiserates with the government and people of Plateau State over the recent disturbances, says the visit to Governor Lalong is strategic as the chairman of the Northern Governors Forum because this will help the British Commission engage communities suffering security challenges in the northern region. She therefore calls for the support of Plateau State government towards working out solutions that will entrench lasting peace in the state and country.
We wanted to seek your views and understand how we can work together with the Northern Governors Forum as well as with yourself on policy solutions and offer any support that we can as the UK to building lasting peace and stability in Nigeria.
Governor Simon Lalong expresses appreciation to the British government for being instrumental to the establishment of the Plateau State Peace Building Agency, which he says has made the state a model for peace in the whole country.
We have, I think, the highest number of white settlements here, with your schools and everything. If we don't provide this security, you will not do this. You will not keep your schools here. Come and support us. And let us make the example outside so that we have peace on the plateau and in Nigeria.
The delegation is already engaging communities that have suffered recent violence in Plateau State in areas of social interventions. In Jos, Priscilla Grumnan, NTA News.
National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA, says it will sustain its collaboration with stakeholders on disaster management. This was during a training organized for members of the Nigerian Union of Journalists, NUJ, in Jos. Ndean and Deavagang reports.
The mandate of NEMA is to, among other things, manage disaster through public education and awareness. It is against this backdrop that the agency held a training for media professionals with the role of media in disaster management as its theme.
We are the mirror of the society,
And if we are sensitized, you are in other way, otherwise sensitizing the society as a whole.
By bringing NEMA to talk about this kind of things, we'll be able to get the grammar, the nuances, the language in which we can report without causing more confusion.
For NEMA, the training is timely as it will equip participants with necessary information and technical know-how in handling disaster reports.
To have a better relationship and find a more effective way, a better way to communicate disaster prevention and mitigation to the people.
More collaborative efforts from the media and in fact a continuous support, especially in the area of educating and informing the citizens.
The agency promised to sustain partnership with the media, describing it as an integral partner in disaster management. In Jos, Indenyan and the Abuja, NTA News.
And that's our beat from Jos. We now rejoin Naja'atu in Abuja.
Thanks for rejoining our Abuja network studios. We're talking security matters now. Joint military operations to rid the southwest region of insecurity have been expanded to cover kidnapping, cultism, and other criminal activities threatening the security of the country. The flag officer commanding the Western Naval Command, Rear Admiral Jason Bassa, stated this during a working visit to Ogun State. Yemi Dalemo reports.
Admiral Jackson, while informing his hosts about the expansion of the scope of the joint military operation known as Operation Awase, says the task force, which was originally set up to curb pipeline vandalism from Atlas Cove in Lagos to Mosimi Depot in Ogun State, has been reviewed to cover other areas of insecurity in the southwest region. It is disclosed that men of Operation Awase have been deployed to Magba Eredu and Fuwe riverine communities in Ogun Waterside local government area and the oil-rich Ongeji Island to repair criminal incursions in the area.
We are trying to scale up our presence there.
Ogun State Governor Dapo Abiodun, who commended the Nigerian security forces for their unwavering efforts in protecting lives and property, said his administration will continue to support efforts at addressing insecurity.
Ogun State today is probably, probably the most peaceful state in this country. And that is not been by accident. It's been by a lot of hard, deliberate work by our team in collaboration with our law enforcement agency head.
The governor later donated 2 vehicles to the Navy to strengthen its operations in the state. In Abeokuta, Yemi Dalemo, NTA News.
Victims of police brutality and human rights violations in Benue State are to be compensated with close to 305 million naira. The chairman of the Benue State Judicial Panel of Inquiry and former chief judge of the state, Justice Adam Onum, stated this while submitting the report to the state government in Makurdi. Charles Abba reports.
Chairman of the Judicial Panel, Justice Adam Onum, who said 72 complaints were received with some struck out, presented 50 bound copies of the outcome of the exercise to the state government.
The panel was guided in each case by global best practices and dictated by local and international protocol on human and people's rights, including in particular the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, 1999, as amended, and no other extant laws and rules, enabling the panel in that behalf to ensure the observance of rights to fair hearing to all persons who appear before it.
The meaning handy of this report is obviously going to do a lot of good to sanitize the police force so that they will discharge their duties according to the rule of the law. What we have seen in the past, some stories told by some people who had been in detention, when they tell you, they will send chills into your body.
He appreciated the panel for a job well done and gave the assurance that the report would be given the desired attention. In Makurdi, Charles Abba, NTA News.
Nigeria, which ranks 12th largest in the world and second in Africa in the rubber industry, lost out from the global market value of $39.7 billion in 2020. The task of revitalizing the rubber industry has now been brought to the fore by the National Rubber Producers, Processors and Marketers Association of Nigeria and other relevant federal government agencies. Bosede Abel reports that the purpose of this dialogue is to open economic corridors for stakeholders and investors to expand the raw material industry through plantation development and creation of small and large-scale production of the commodity in Nigeria.
Ultimately, this will guarantee employment opportunities, reduce rural-urban drift, increase internally generated revenue, increase export of rubber for more foreign exchange earnings, to mention but a few. The target is expansion of the raw material base.
Meanwhile, workers in Cross River, especially widows and youths, have expressed happiness that the state government has sustained their means of livelihood with the restoration of work at a garment factory destroyed during the NSAS protest. Paul Abel reports.
Right here at the garment factory premises, where they are doing their induction, and after this induction they are expected to commence work, because we're also ramping up to 3 full shifts, so we actually need additional hands.
Effium is one of the many youths in Cross River State who can now fend for himself and contribute to societal development without being a burden to anybody, due to the privilege of working at a Cross River garment factory.
My senators sew T-shirts based on what I've been taught here in this Cross River State garment factory. So I make those things to make additional money. I don't depend on my stipends.
These testimonies are contrary to the erroneous perception by a segment of society that the garment factory is not functional.
We are not playing. We are coming here for work every day.
We used to come out every time. Once in a while will come, but here we work. That is how people, they want to scandalize the name of a governor, that we are not working.
First, the challenge of the NSAS, protest. They entered here. A lot of the machines were vandalized. A lot were picked, but we've replaced a whole lot of them. We've worked them too, and right now we've returned back to full production.
The Cross River Garment Factory was inaugurated in 2017 by Vice President Yemi Osibajo to serve the garment needs of the South-South zone. In Calabar, Paul Abel, NTA News.
Still on the economy, the organized private sector is to contribute 300 trillion naira of the 350 trillion naira projected as funding requirement for the National Development Plan. The Minister of State, Budget and National Planning, Clem Agba, stated this at a media briefing ahead of the 27th Nigeria Economic Summit. Neka Oku reports.
For about 2 decades now, the Nigerian Economic Summit has been consistent in promoting sustainable growth and development of the Nigerian economy. This year, the summit will be galvanizing renewed commitment of stakeholders to prioritize the pursuit of economic growth to enable the country realize its economic potentials at the global stage.
It also seeks to explore potential opportunities that will accelerate economic development. Even though we have remained the largest economy in Africa, every Nigerian will acknowledge that there's still a lot of work to be done as we strive for regional and global competitiveness.
The 27th edition of the summit, with the Federal Ministry of Finance, Budget and National Planning playing a strategic role, is slated for October 25 and 26 in Abuja. Neka Oku, NTA News.
The federal government says it is prioritizing the country's health sector with the injection of 711.3 billion naira in the 2022 appropriation bill presented to the National Assembly by President Buhari. Against this background, Bassey Taekbang highlights the budget breakdown as it concerns the health sector.
Over the years, successive governments in Nigeria has been allocating between 5 to 6% of its budget to the health sector. Between 2001 and 2021, Recurrent expenditure represents 78% of the total health expenditure. This significant difference, stakeholders say, in reality, Nigeria is in dire need of improved health system.
In 2021, the government approved a little over 600 billion naira for the health sector.
And we must give it to President Muhammad Buhari. Between 2015 until now, he had made modest progression in terms of the percentage of the total budget per annum that goes to the health sector.
A breakdown of the 2022 proposed allocation of funds to the health sector. The Minister of Finance, Budget and National Planning, Mrs. Zainab, observed, will cater for the Health Ministry, its department and agencies, capital and recurrent expenditure, including hazard allowances for medical personnel. 2022 budget estimate also showed that 11.8 million naira is proposed for cleaning and fumigation services. A sum of 54.05 billion naira is also allocated to basic healthcare provision fund. 54.9 million naira for the Gavi immunization vaccine.
The National Assembly should have a critical review of these items and ensure that there are a lot that goes into capital projects.
The proposed budget also lay emphasis on critical health intervention, the strengthening of national emergency medical services and ambulance systems, procurement of vaccines, and upgrading of primary health care centers across the 6 geopolitical zones. Basi Taipang, NTA News.
Nigeria receives Queen's baton ahead of Commonwealth Games. Details with Ayodeji Makinde on Sports Update.
The Queen's baton is in Nigeria for 2 days ahead of preparations for 2022 Commonwealth Games in Birmingham, United Kingdom from July 28th to August 8th. The iconic symbol was received at the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport, Abuja, by Nigeria Olympic Committee President Habu Gumel.
I'm happy to say that Nigeria is the first country that is receiving this among the African countries, and we are happy that we are receiving it, and we want to assure the public, we are going to enlighten the public.
While in the country, the baton will be presented to President Muhammadu Buhari before it continues the tour of 72 Commonwealth nations over 294 hours. In another development, the maiden Osma Sahel Games is set to climax Saturday with athletes getting braced for the marathon race at the Agoye Irunsi Cantonment, Abuja, and will be live on the NTA network at 7 a.m. Chad emerged champions of the football event with a 3-0 victory over Cameroon, while host country Nigeria finished third after defeating Guinea by a lone goal.
From the beginning, our own tactics, and even we added with tactic of other team, their vulnerable side, their strong side, and for that reason, we decided how to come to this end.
Elsewhere, Nigeria Chess Federation moved a step further in its development program by participating in a virtual friendly game with Hungary as they continue to comply with COVID-19 guidelines. President of the Federation, DIG Sani Mohammed, retired, says despite Nigeria losing 3.5 to 8.5 points in 2 rounds, more tournaments will be organized to improve rankings of national players.
One is to foster diplomatic relations. Secondly is to study our inadequacies and seek for technical assistance.
The championship is the first virtual tournament in the country. With sports updates, Ayodeji Makinde, NTA News.
Sports Update concludes the news on Nationwide. Do remember to keep standing with the NTA against rape and rapists. I'm Naja Atutijani.